Hello, my dear students. Welcome back. This is Indira. In today's lecture, I'll be continuing with the DNA replication. So, in my last video, we completed DNA structure, and now we will continue with the replication of DNA. So, before we start the actual process of replication, we will first discuss the Michelson and Stall's experiment, which led to the understanding of the process of replication. So, Watson and Crick suggested that DNA molecules can form its own copy. DNA molecule can form its own copy by replication, and they explained that DNA replication is semi-conservative. So, here in the process of replication, first we have to understand the three methods of replication, three types of replication, which I have listed down here. So, first method, which was explained by Watson and Crick, called as semi-conservative replication. So, in semi-conservative type, one of the parent strand is conserved in daughter DNA molecule and another one is newly synthesized. Conserved means it is retained in the daughter DNA molecule. So, as in the diagram, we can see this is the parent DNA. This is the parent DNA. First, the two strands of parent DNA get separated, and on both the strands, a new strand is formed. So, one which I have shown in this brown color, this is the old strand, parent strand, another one is the new strand. So, on the old strand or parent strand, new strand is synthesized. So, one parent DNA molecule will give rise to two DNA molecules. And the DNA molecules have one strand from the parent, other is newly synthesized. So, such type of replication is called as a semi-conservative type of replication, which is the most accepted one, because that's what experimentally proved also by Michelson and Stahl, that DNA replication is semi-conservative type. And there were other thoughts also which are theoretically possible. So, other modes of reproduction which are theoretically possible are conservative method of reproduction. In conservative method, parent DNA molecule is completely conserved and daughter DNA molecule is newly synthesized. So here when two DNA molecules are formed from one parent DNA, we find one of the daughter DNA molecule is same as that of the parent DNA molecule and another one is newly synthesized. This was the other thought, that DNA replication may be conservative also. These are only thoughts, but they are not experimentally proved. The experimental verification is found for semi-conservative replication. Now the third type of replication, which is theoretically possible, was dispersive method of replication. Dispersive method. Here parent DNA breaks into fragments and new DNA strands are formed attached to both, and both parental DNA and new DNA strands are present in daughter DNA molecules. So here in dispersive method, how it happens, how exactly the process happens is, suppose this is a parent DNA molecule, it can break into different fragments. It can break into different strands. The two strands can separate and it can break into different fragments. Say suppose this is parent's DNA strand. It can form many fragments this way. And then the two strands will get separated and new strand is formed. And they join in a random fashion. The new strands and the old strands are joined in a random fashion. That's how we get in daughter DNA molecules on both the strands, we get a combination of both old and new strands. So here we get a combination of both old and new strand. So this one which I have shown in blue color, this is the new strand. One which is this is in brown color, this is the old strand, parent strand. So on one strand we find combination of both. This is called as a dispersive mode of replication. So here parental strands are randomly distributed in daughter DNA molecules. So these were the three theoretically possible methods of replication. Now Michelson and Stahl, they conducted experiments in E. coli to prove that DNA is semi-conservative type. So what is this Michelson and Stahl's experiment? Let us see. So they provided experimental evidence for semi-conservative replication. And what are all requirements here? What is all required? So first thing is E. coli is required. It is done in E. coli, and then nitrogen source, that is heavy nitrogen containing N15. So heavy nitrogen source is taken as ammonium chloride, which has N15, and a light N14 ammonium chloride is taken. This is normal, N14 is normal, and N15 is heavy molecule. That is more density. It has more density. And a cesium chloride for density gradient centrifugation. This is the technique followed. Density gradient centrifugation technique is followed in order to understand the semi-conservative method of replication. So first let us see, I would like to explain what is the density gradient centrifugation which is used here. So in this density gradient centrifugation, we find it is a mixture of particles layered over a medium whose density increases from top to bottom. That means here, like I have shown in a test tube, at the tip the density will be low. Gradually the density will increase towards the bottom. So this is how it is distributed, the density of the different molecules in a mixture. Now in this technique, what is done? In this technique, Michelson and Stahl used cesium chloride salt solution. Salt solution which is taken is cesium chloride and subjected it to centrifugation. So this is a cesium chloride solution. CaCl is cesium chloride solution. So this was taken as a salt solution, and this salt solution is subjected to centrifugation in an instrument called ultracentrifuge. So here for centrifugation the instrument used is called ultracentrifuge. It is called ultracentrifuge. So this instrument rotates at a very high speed, and when it has a high speed of rotation, when it rotates at high speed, the particles settle down depending upon their densities, depending on the densities. The same thing was done when cesium chloride was also taken and then subjected to centrifugation. The particles of cesium chloride, due to centrifugal force, they formed a gradient. Gradient means they get arranged due to difference in their densities. More denser will be at the bottom, gradually less towards the tip of the container. Say like for example, I have taken suppose 1.7 grams per milliliter. Gradually it is decreasing towards the top. This is how the cesium chloride solution is distributed in a gradient based on their density. That's why it is called as a density gradient centrifugation. Now how this DNA gets distributed? How the DNA? When DNA mixture is introduced into this, and then when it is subjected to centrifugation, the DNA mixture may have the fragments of different densities, and this DNA mixture or these DNA fragments will find their own equivalent densities. This is also called isopycnic centrifugation, isopycnic or equilibrium type of gradient centrifugation. Means here any other particle, any other molecule which have to be separated, it finds its own density and then gets settled. Suppose we are using DNA here. The DNA will be settled Here, finding its own density, the different DNA molecules can settle down depending upon whichever density matches. Suppose the DNA molecule has high density, it settles down at the bottom. Suppose DNA molecule has intermediate density in the middle, or it has a very low density, it settles at the top. So it gets distributed depending upon the densities of cesium chloride. That's why it is called as a density gradient centrifugation. So this technique was used in order to understand or in order to prove that DNA replication is semi-conservative type. So here same thing points I have written. When DNA fragments are separated in this mixture, fragments are separated and suspended in the gradient depending upon their densities. They get suspended there. So one can easily identify a DNA fragment by passing ultraviolet light. Suppose they are suspended here, ultraviolet light. They can be stained, and by observing in ultraviolet light, the DNA fragments can be easily observed. So when ultraviolet light is passed, the technique also becomes autoradiography. So a film has to be kept here, X-ray film, so that the bands can be easily observed. So this is how the different DNA fragments, based on their densities, they can be separated. And the technique is called as density gradient centrifugation. Now let us see how this is applied to a Michelson and Stahl's experiment. Michelson and Stahl experiment. In order to understand that DNA is a semi-conservative method, replication. So here I am going to show a diagram. I have drawn a diagram to show and prove that DNA is a semi-conservative method. So first here what is taken is a parent DNA is first taken. A parent DNA. This parent DNA is first treated with, or the E. coli cell. Here E. coli cells are treated. So here E. coli cells are first treated with N15 nitrogen. So in the first I will write the step here for you. So here first step, E. coli cells, they are first treated with N15. That means heavy isotope. So when they are treated with N15, what happens? Both the strands of DNA, they get N15. Both the strands are going to get N15. This is now, this particular DNA is now, it is replicated in the medium of, this is subjected to replication in the medium containing N14, that is normal nitrogen. First it is treated with N15. So both the strands now have N15. And now it is replicated in the medium of N14. So when it is replicated in the medium of N14, that means this is the new DNA. New DNA should have N14. New strand which is formed, or new DNA molecule which is formed, should have only N14, which is the light one. This is the light DNA. And this is the heavy DNA. So this I am showing it by three different replication which we have already discussed, that is conservative, semi-conservative, dispersive. So try to understand this diagram. So in the first place, when parent DNA has both the N15, when we subject it to centrifugation, since it is completely heavy, only one DNA band is obtained at the bottom of the container, bottom of the test tube. Only one DNA band. So this is only one DNA band is obtained. Now this is replicated in the medium of N14. Now let us see first generation. If it is conservative type, already described what is conservative. parent DNA is retained and a new DNA is synthesized. So if it is conservative, this is parent DNA, it is going to have both N15 and 15 on both the strands. Another DNA molecule is completely new, so both the strands will have N14, N14. So one is completely heavy, other one is light. So when such DNA mixture is subjected to centrifugation, we get two bands, one at the base, that is one of the strand which is parental. Another one is newly synthesized, which is completely light, so it will be at the top. This was observed. This is if it is conservative, because we are just assuming that it can be conservative, it can be semi-conservative or dispersive also. So we are trying to understand how this experiment proves that DNA replication is semi-conservative. So if conservative means we are only assuming. If it is conservative, suppose, then we get two bands. Now let us say if it is semi-conservative. In semi-conservative, we know one of the strand is parent strand, another is newly synthesized. So one strand will have N15, the other strand will have N14. Similarly, N15, N14. That means the two DNA molecules which are formed, they are half heavy, half light. They can be called as half heavy and half light. That means it is a hybrid molecule. Now, since it is half heavy, half light, the band was observed in between, in the center. Band can be observed at the center. Now, next one, if it is a third method, that is dispersive method. In dispersive method, we find on both the DNA molecules, both parental and new strands, both are present. They may be randomly distributed. So since both are present, this is also going to give a band in the middle. Band in the middle. So by first generation, we can eliminate that it is the conservative is not present. It can be eliminated, and these two are same. So it can be either semi-conservative or dispersive. Suppose we are obtaining this, we can say that it can be either semi-conservative or dispersive. We can eliminate this. So Michelson and Stahl, he observed this in the first generation. In his experiment, in their experiment, they observed this in the first generation. So this we can observe in dispersive also. So we can easily eliminate conservative type of replication in first generation itself. We can eliminate. Now we can concentrate on semi-conservative and dispersive. So by first generation, actually we can eliminate. We need not bother about second and third generation, because if it is conservative, we are going to, like I have shown in the diagram here, we are going to obtain the same bands. If it is conservative, whatever may be the number of generations. So we can clearly eliminate conservative in the first generation itself. Now if we take semi-conservative and dispersive, which show same bands in the first generation, now let us observe second generation in case of semi-conservative. So second generation, we can find 4 DNA molecules. Out of that, we can find 2 are hybrid, 2 are light. So this second generation is after 40 minutes. First generation is for 20 minutes. Second generation after 40 minutes. So we can observe, this was observed. We can say one is hybrid, 2 are hybrids out of 4 and 2 are normal or light. So after centrifugation, 2 bands were obtained. One is in the middle because there are hybrids present. Another 2 are completely light. So another band was present at the top. But for dispersive, again the result is same. Both parent and new strands both are present, distributed on all the DNA molecules formed randomly. They are distributed. So again, a band was formed only in the middle. It can be little thicker, but a band is formed only in the middle. So by second generation actually we can eliminate even dispersive also. That's how dispersive also was eliminated by second generation. Now if we try to observe third generation, that is after 60 minutes, we can find now by second generation we have eliminated 2. This is not possible, dispersive, and even conservative also is not possible. So only possibility is the semi-conservative method. So if we observe third generation in semi-conservative method, after third generation, that is after 60 minutes, we obtain total of 8 DNA molecules. Out of 8, we find 2 are hybrids. 2 are hybrids, remaining 6 are light. That is, they have normal nitrogen. They are light, that is, they have normal nitrogen. And bands after centrifugation, how we can get bands? Middle as usual, because there is a hybrid DNA, and top it is present similar to second generation, but the change we can find is this becomes more broader. As the number of generations are going on, we can find the top band, light one, becomes more and more thick. Because we find here light DNA molecules are increasing. Here the ratio of light to hybrid. How much we can find here? The ratio of light to hybrid. I'll write the ratio here. Later I'm going to give some questions on this. Ratio of light to hybrid. We find here 1:1 in the second generation. In the third generation we find again hybrid is there. So ratio of light to hybrid DNA molecules. We find there are 2 hybrid DNA molecules and 6 are light. So 3:1. We find a 3:1 ratio of light and hybrid. So as we go further, n number of generations, especially in this type of experiment, we find the light bands or light molecules are increasing and hybrid DNA molecules remain same. The same 2 will remain even if you take for n number of generations. But the light DNA molecules are going to increase because all the replication cycles are taking place in N14 medium. So in numerical, we can have different combinations and we can discuss. So at the end of my session, after a complete mechanism of DNA replication, I am going to discuss all the numericals which are expected in DNA, which are required for this chapter. So this is how. So dispersive again we need not see at all. In dispersive again the same type of result we can see, but only thing we can see is the middle part can become little more thicker. So that's how by this experiment Michelson and Stahl, based on these observations, he found that the DNA replication is a semi-conservative type of replication. It cannot be a conservative or it cannot be dispersive also. So this is what is about semi-conservative method of replication. So ratio questions and all in the numericals MCQs we will discuss. So when we discuss, children, you have to remember the process of replication also, and Michelson and Stahl's experiment also you have to remember it. Now there are some more experiments which also proved that DNA replication is semi-conservative. Same year 1958 Taylor proved that semi-conservative mode of replication in eukaryotes, specially conducted experiment using tritiated thymidine. Thymidine labeled with radioactive isotope tritium in the roots of Vicia faba. This is a Fabaceae member. It is called as a broad bean Fabaceae member. And here he found, when he studied the chromosomes, so chromosomes are treated with tritiated thymidine. in the parent chromosomes, and after first generation a hybrid chromosomes are formed. That means one of the chromatid or one DNA molecule, one chromatid has one DNA molecule, so one of the chromatid will be labeled with thymidine, other is normal. So these are parental. Again in next generation, when 4 are formed, these 2 which are labeled will continue, remaining will be normal. So it is following the same pattern as the Michelson and Stahls experiment by using nitrogen, heavy nitrogen. Now lastly, another scientist, Keynes, C-A-I-R-N-S, Keynes, proved that semi-conservative mode of replication in E. coli. Here he proved, he used the same thymidine. Just like say Taylor, he also used here tritiated thymidine, H3 thymidine. H3 thymidine was used. And he also proposed theta model. This is the theta model for replication of DNA. What is this theta model? We will discuss when we do the replication. So theta model of replication, it is found in prokaryotes like say E. coli. So he also introduced this model of replication. So with this I complete this session, replication of DNA. In my next session I'll be continuing with the mechanism of DNA replication. I hope I made it very clear. If I'm little fast also, students, you must go through, since it is a video, it is not a live class, it is easy for you to go back and then once again go through it. So I hope you have understood. So thank you very much for listening, and please subscribe my channel so that I can reach maximum number of students and my other youngsters who are coming into this profession, joining newly, and they want to make a career in teaching profession. I definitely you want to utilize my experience in helping them. So I hope I am very clear what are my objectives and what are my intentions in starting this channel. So I'm very happy to start the channel. Though late I started, I'm very happy to start with it, and I hope I'm doing my work sincerely. So I need a feedback also. So let us meet in the next session. Thank you very much, all of you. Have a good day.